Welcome, everyone, to the Gardener's Corner. My name is Jennifer Brown, Family Consumer Science Agent with the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service. And I serve Person and Granville counties with the Family Consumer Science Program. So basically, I teach food and nutrition. Welcome to my kitchen. So to start off our Gardener Corner session today, I wanted to talk to you about one of the important food groups of the My Plate, because I'm not sure if you realized it, but June is National Dairy Month. So we're going to talk about the dairy group for just a little bit. Also, we talk about it because in July, we typically recognize that as several different things, but it is also Ice Cream Month. And we know that you guys love your ice cream. So we want to talk to you about dairy. So let's get started talking about our dairy group, specifically about milk and milk substitutes. This presentation was kind of put together by the Southeast Dairy Organization, and it's to promote Dairy Month. So we want you to remember to get your glass of milk, eat some cheese, some yogurt, low-fat ice cream or different things like that so that you can make sure you're getting enough calcium and other stuff. So what's in the milk that you're drinking? Milk typically refers to cow's milk or dairy milk. You can have milk substitutes. It kind of looks very similar, but some of them are plant-based, such as soy milk or almond milk or coconut milk or even rice milk. So there are different things, but those are referred to as milk substitutes. They can still be somewhat healthy, providing a certain amount of calcium or protein or different things depending on the type of milk it is. The reason that we want to remind people about the dairy category is because you might be familiar with the My Plate. This is what it looks like here. And you see that the dairy category is kind of up to the top corner there. It's kind of in the shape of a glass. So a lot of times people think about milk, but we also talk about dairy with cheese and yogurt and ice cream or milk-based products. The Dietary Guidelines for Americans recommend that us as adults or children over 9 years of age get 3 servings of dairy in their daily eating plan. There is plenty of recipes or more tips that you can find online from the choosemyplate.gov organization to determine if you are getting some of the nutrients that you need and how you can get dairy into your daily routine. Later on in the program, I'm going to also talk about the importance of breakfast. And a lot of us get dairy, whether it's milk in your cereal or you have maybe a yogurt parfait or something like that. So hopefully eating breakfast, which is the most important meal of the day, will help you get dairy into your My Plate. Milk is naturally nutrient rich. It's kind of like, a powder keg of nutrients. In fact, it has 9 essential nutrients, and you can see from this graphic which it is. Most of us, we know calcium, okay? But it also gives us potassium, phosphorus, protein, vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin B12, riboflavin, and niacin. So many vitamins and minerals. Instead of taking that, vitamin in the morning, we want you to eat your fruits and vegetables, eat your dairy products, eat these, nutrients instead of taking a pill to get them. Those pills are just simply supposed to be supplements. They're not supposed to replace the foods, the healthy foods that we should be eating and drinking. Now, you know that, especially during the summer, I'm going to tell you that water is one of the most important beverages that you need to drink, especially during the summer when it gets so hot and you can get very dehydrated. Milk is also an important beverage, or at least getting your dairy. If you do not like drinking milk, there are so many other ways to get dairy, but it's important to get dairy because some of the foods that you eat don't have as many nutrients as milk does. So if you don't like drinking milk, making sure that you're getting these nutrients in other ways. Also, you're not taking the milk and making something unhealthy. And we tend to do that. We take something that's good for us, such as apples, and we make apple pie with it instead of just eating the apple, or we make apple juice. Same thing with the milk. We can have a sundae, We can have a banana split and like, well, it's got fruit on it. It's good for me. It also has a lot of other sugar, and some of the milks have a high amount of fat. And we're going to talk about the different types of milks today. And we want to show you how some of your milks or some of your beverages stack up. Some of the plant-based milks that I mentioned, the milk substitutes, such as the almond milk and the soy milk, have been fortified. That means they've been given these nutrients that milk normally has. Okay, it's been processed. But let's look and kind of compare. So when we compare beverages, or when people ask me about beverages, I ask them to look at a couple of things. What is it going to cost? I'm all about, being, on a food budget, about being frugal, as well as, living with a family. I'm on a limited budget. Taste. If my kids won't drink it, having it in the house and wasting money on it is not going to be good. Can I find it? Availability. So if you're looking for some of these milk substitutes, you might not find all of the choices that you want at your local grocery store. You might have to go to more of an urban neighborhood in order to find even more options or more choices. And then first and foremost, even though it's on the bottom of the list, we said the best for last is nutrition. Reading that label. Is it good for me? Yes, it has nutrients, but does it have a lot of fat? Does it have, hidden sugars? What does it have in it? And even thinking about the things, what are you going to do to it? I know that I have one daughter, she loves drinking water and milk and things like that. And I have another one who's like, I have to force her to drink water. She doesn't want milk unless it's chocolate milk, which is just loaded with sugar. So it can be a battle. But I'm going to make sure that she's getting dairy in the cheeses and the other foods that she's eating. So looking at a nutrition facts label. You can see one on the screen right here. Not all of those nutrients are going to be that I mentioned that milk has, the 9 essential ones, are going to be on your label. Okay. They mainly list the top 5 is the ones that we're concerned about. A serving size of milk is 1 cup. So you can get a measuring cup out, or it's about the size of your fist is what a cup is. But most of us, we just pour a big old glass of milk, or we have a big old bowl of cereal and we just pour that milk to that certain line. So you might actually be getting more milk than you need at a time. But when we are talking about serving, a serving is 1 cup, which is 8 ounces. And you can see the breakdown, depending on what type of milk it is, will determine how much fat it is. That's the main difference. Whether you have whole milk, 2%, 1%, or skim, they have all the same amount of calcium. Okay. They all have 30%. So if you're concerned about osteoporosis or the amount of calcium in your milk or whatever, you can't use that as an excuse to drink the high fat whole milk. Okay. Because that skim milk is going to give you just as much calcium. But it might not be that you like the flavor of skim milk. So we say, drink what you can. We would like 1% and skim milk because that has the least amount of fat, but we understand that the flavoring might not work for you. So just the way we want you to kind of transition yourself off of sweet tea, blending them together. So starting with a cup of, whole milk, that's what you're used to drinking. Okay, next time get 2% and put 3/4 of a cup of whole milk, 1/4 of a cup of 2%. And then eventually you're doing half and half, whole and half 2%. And then eventually you're doing 3/4, 2%, 1/4 whole milk. And then the next time you're able to do a whole cup of 2%. And you've slowly made that transition as opposed to just completely switching. It can be very difficult and different for your taste buds. You have to adapt your taste buds to, less sugar, less fat, less salt in your meals. You can't just go, complete cold turkey because you won't be as successful. So, and then eventually if you get to 2%, you can drink that for a while, and then you can make that same transition to the 1%. So these are ways that you can do to make small changes, and you can make a long-term healthier lifestyle change over time. When you're reading, looking at nutrition for any products, not all products are created equal. You're going to have to read that label. You're going to have to look at, this is how much fat this one has. This is how much fat this one has, protein and calcium and all those things. So you want to check the calories per serving, because with milk, as you go down from the whole milk to the skim milk, the calories will decrease about 20 calories every time. So if you can even make one change from whole milk to 2%, you're saving yourself calories every time you drink it. You're also saving yourself fat grams. It goes down about 2 fat grams every time. Unfortunately, if you're a diabetic, it really doesn't matter what kind of milk you drink with regards to the sugar, because whole milk and skim milk, they all have the same amount of sugar. It's about 12 grams of sugar because it has lactose, okay? And lactose is a sugar. So all of them have lactose. They're all going to have the same amount of sugar. The difference there is making sure that you don't put chocolate milk or strawberry milk or something like that, because you are putting more sugar in that. So those products, the chocolate milk, will double in the amount of sugar. But the main thing that we're concerned about between the whole milk and all the way down to the skim milk is the amount of fat, grams of fat. Again, it goes down 2 grams or so every level you can get down, and it goes down about 20 calories. So just making those slow changes over time to your milk can make a big difference, where you are not drinking as much fat and as many calories. So I know it might be difficult to see this slide, and I can always share information with anyone. So if you're interested in anything that I'm talking about, please, I'll have my contact information available so you guys can reach out to me. But reading just the labels, and I'll do this when I go to the grocery store, I will pull out multiple containers of milk and I'll compare. But looking at these, we have fat-free milk, lactose-free milk, soy milk, almond milk, coconut milk. So basically the lactose is like the lactate milk. So you can see, just looking at the bottom, basically, that they all have relatively the same amount of calcium, okay? The fat-free milk, the lactate milk, and the one on the far right is rice milk. They all have 30% of calcium. The two that have a little bit more is the soy and the almond milk, because they've added calcium to it. You can also see that that ingredient list gets much longer. I prefer to have natural ingredients. I don't like a lot of fake things or a lot of extra additives or, those sweeteners or different things in it. So I like the fact that if you were looking at the fat-free milk, and even if it's not fat-free, even if it was whole milk, it's going to have the same amount of calcium. If you look at regular milk and you look at lactate, I like that they have very few ingredients. Okay. That means it's not fake products. I'm not putting all this extra additives into it, because I don't like things that I can't even pronounce in my food. They all have the same amount of carbs. So if you're concerned about sugar, pretty much it doesn't differ that much until you get to the rice milk, because rice itself is a grain and is a carb too. And then you add that to the milk part of it and you have more carbs. The regular milk is going to give you the most protein. Again, soy, they've added some of those things. You can see that they've added that riboflavin. They've added that vitamin D, vitamin A, vitamin B12. They have taken these, I'm going to call them fake products, and they've added all these nutrients that milk normally just naturally has. Now, if you are lactose intolerant and you can't have milk, then yes, we want you to find the best substitute that you can. Whether that's the lactose, whether it's the soy milk, things like that. But you notice that the fat-free and the lactose-free milk, both of those two are fat-free milks. So there's 0 grams of fat. If you're getting into the soy and the almond and the coconut and even the rice, it has some fat in it. So determining, making that decision, are you trying to have a low fat diet? Or are you trying to make sure you get a good amount of calcium? Are you trying to eat more natural flavors? Or do you maybe not like the taste of some of the regular milk? You like the almond milk taste, or you like the soy milk taste. Now, I will say, be very careful about some of those milk substitutes. They will add vanilla, they'll be like, oh, this is vanilla soy milk, or this is vanilla almond milk, or whatever. That's sugar. That means they've added sugar. It's the difference between having regular yogurt and having vanilla flavored yogurt. All they've done is added sugar, and it goes the same if it's strawberry. It doesn't matter if it's plain, vanilla, or if it's strawberry, it's still sugar. They've added a flavoring. They've added an additive to it. So those are the things that we want you to look at. Now, your calories will depending upon the amount of protein, the amount of fat, and the amount of carbohydrates that your beverage contains. So if it has protein like milk does, it provides about 4 calories per gram. If it's a very high fat beverage, such as say whole milk, it's going to provide 9 calories per gram. That's why when you have your whole milk and you can go make that transition down to even just 1% milk, you're going to have less fat because there's less calories there. And again, adding that vanilla, adding those strawberry flavors to either your milk or your yogurts or any of your ice creams and stuff like that, you're putting extra sugars, you're putting extra fillers in there, and that can also add to calories. So if you're interested in finding out what your calorie intake or calorie needs should be, you can go to choosemyplate.gov, or you can look online and search up calorie calculator. And it will ask you for your height and your weight. And if you're trying to lose weight, gain weight, maintain weight, and it will give you a daily recommended calorie intake. So if you want to lose weight, go underneath what you need to maintain it, go get less calories. Those are things that you can do to reduce your calories, making that switch like I mentioned, watching your portion size. So if you cannot stand 1% or skim milk or whatever else, then maybe drinking less milk or using less cheese. If you're making like a lasagna, you don't have to put 3 layers of it. 2 layers is perfectly fine. It's going to taste just as cheesy as it normally should. Now, fat, there are good fats and there are bad fats, just like there are good carbs and there are bad carbs. Fat is an essential part of a healthy eating plan. It gives us energy. Carbohydrates should be where we get most of our energy from. About half of the calories that you take in should be carbs. But there's a difference between eating some broccoli and eating a donut. They're both going to give you some carbs, but you can understand that one's going to have more sugar, one's going to have more fat, one's going to have more calories than the other one. Reading your food labels is how you know how much protein, how much fat, how much carbohydrates it is. But also we're concerned about the type of fat. We want you to get unsaturated fats, okay? Because the polyunsaturated and the monounsaturated, these lower your risk of heart disease. These are the heart healthy fats. So cooking with olive oil instead of butter is a simple thing. Eating avocado, eating nuts, peanuts or different things like that, that has a good amount of unsaturated fats. So don't just look at the total fat. Look underneath that on your label, and it'll tell you how many grams of that total fat are saturated, and you can figure out how many are unsaturated there. That's how you need to look at that. Making those better choices. Choosing, maybe you can't get all the way to fat-free, the skim milk or the fat-free cheese. But can you get reduced fat? Can you get lower fat? Little baby steps along the way can help you get to your weight goal or help you decrease the amount of fat or calories in your diet. Carbohydrates as well. Again, there are simple carbohydrates and there are complex carbohydrates. The complex ones are the ones that are found in our plant-based foods. It gives us dietary fibers. It gives us different things. And then you also have sugar. Sugar is a carb. And it can vary whether it's added sugar, like adding the strawberry or the vanilla to some flavorings, or if you have, if I actually put real strawberries in my yogurt, that's going to have natural sugars in my strawberries versus having strawberry yogurt and there's not a bit of strawberries in it. So adding the fake sugars, the artificial sweeteners, that will increase your caloric content of your beverages. Having that chocolate milk, it's not only going to increase the amount of sugars, but it's going to increase the calories in that product. So reading your label to find out if there are added sugars. The new labels on our food products have sugar, have total sugars, and then underneath that, it will have something that says added sugars. So it might say it has 12 total sugars, and then it might say underneath it 9 added sugars or 9 grams of added sugars. So 9 of those 12 are added, or they're not naturally, you're not getting nutrients from it. It doesn't have any fruit, whatever. So it has only a little bit of real sugar, and then it has a lot of extra added stuff that you probably could do without it. You can also actually read the ingredient, the little paragraph of ingredients. And if you see any of words that end in the letters OSE, such as lactose, glucose, sucrose, any of those oses, that means sugar. If it contains the word, sugar cane or corn syrup or high fructose corn syrup, if it has honey, molasses, these things are sugar. And if you are a diabetic, your body doesn't care if it's natural sugar like strawberries or if it's added sugars like, sugar sweetener or whatever. Sugar is sugar is sugar. That's all your body knows, is you're giving it more sugar. But at least eating the fruits and the beverages, which we definitely do recommend whether you're diabetic or not, they have lower amounts of calories. They have high amounts of vitamins and minerals. And you're getting so many nutrients for a little bit of sugar. It's much better than eating the donut and getting like no nutrients, but still getting just as much sugar, just as much, if not, more fat, more calories too. So I've mentioned the lactose, trying to stay away from some of those flavored milks. Chocolate milk, again, it has all those 9 essential nutrients, but it also has about 30 extra calories from the added sugar. And it has about twice the amount of sugar in it than the regular milk does. That's, a problem, especially during, giving that to children. A lot of times they like chocolate milk. That's what the milk they want. And that's why we continue to have a, childhood obesity epidemic. Dairy also gives you protein, and that's going to help your muscles, keep them strong. It's going to help keep you healthy. It's going to, provide so many different things for your body there. And it's good for your health. But we want to make sure that you're just watching the sugar and the fat as you go. And that dairy food provides about 6 to 9 grams of protein per serving. So you're getting protein in the morning, even just by having that cereal or having that yogurt, because that has protein in it. Some of those milk substitutes don't have that protein. Soy beverages provide about 8 grams of protein per serving and is listed as a dairy food group choice. So again, you just have to read it. Some of them will, some of them won't. You really have to read the labels, and not the pretty, fancy stuff on the front of the marketing gimmicks, but the actual nutrition labels there. Hold up 2 different ones and compare the amount of calcium, compare the amount of sugar, the amount of fat, and all of the calories and stuff. Because calcium is very important, especially as we age. It's going to build our, it helps us grow as we're young, but it also helps as we get older as adults. We lose so much bone mass and we lose a lot of strength. So we have problems with blood clotting, with having a normal heartbeat. So everyone needs calcium, no matter, your age, and dairy milk provides a very good source of calcium. Again, go online to the choosemyplate.gov and you can find some more information, more recipes, or ways to cook using some of the dairy products to help make sure that you're getting the calcium and the protein that you need. And again, this isn't just another screenshot here of the different milk products that I mentioned, that they all have roughly 30 to 45% of your daily intake of calcium. So you're getting, a third to almost half of your calcium daily intake that you need just from drinking 1 glass of milk. You haven't added any cheese or yogurt or anything else like that. But watching those calories and those fat grams is very important too, because you're going to get the calcium that we're needing, unless, you just really don't like milk or you're lactose intolerant. So again, whenever we're looking at ingredients, I already mentioned this, looking at the milk, less is more. I want the healthy ingredients. And if you're adding a lot of chemicals or a lot of additives, flavorings, sugars, or even stabilizers, we've seen some of these examples of some of these ingredients on those milk labels I just showed you. I don't want those. I want it to be natural ingredients. I want to drink my healthy beverage. I don't want to have to make something else and then add other stuff to it in order to get what milk is already giving me. Again, completely, if you are lactose intolerant, you have to do what you have to do and you have to drink these. But if you're not lactose intolerant or you don't have that problem, then why not milk? That would be my question. Why settle for second best when you have a wonderful product that's right here? Watching those added ingredients, watching like, oh, I'm having milk, but I'm making a milkshake or something. You're adding a lot of extra stuff there, taking milk, and even if or yogurt, if you're making smoothies, watch all the extra added sugar you just dump in that smoothie. Watch portion sizes too. Your smoothie you're drinking might be 500 calories. So, or it might be even more. Watch those things. If you're drinking coffee or getting some of those mochas or stuff like that, you're not really going to taste whether it's whole fat milk or low fat milk. So why not get the low fat? Because your body will taste the difference when it comes to calories and fat and sugar. Again, get the facts before you choose your beverage. There are some people who are just lactose intolerant, and there's some people that actually have a milk allergy. So there's always difference, just like gluten intolerance or being allergic to gluten. Some people, it could just be you have some digestive issues. Some people can tolerate small amounts of dairy foods that are low in lactose, such as your hard cheeses. Some people will just get bloated. So if you're always feeling bloated or if you're having some stomach pain, it could be you can always develop an intolerance to lactose. So making sure that you're getting that checked out if you think that you might have a problem with it. Being a milk allergy is actually just like having any other food allergy, where you could go into anaphylactic shock, have problems breathing, break out into hives, and it could happen anytime throughout the life. And you cannot have milk or milk products at all. You need to get this diagnosed, and you need to, make sure everyone that is providing food for you knows about this allergy, because your immune system cannot process the protein that is in the milk products. And things that we just keep repeating: check your labels, get the facts, but drink your milk, eat your dairy product, and find the best one that's the best for you. So hopefully you've learned a couple of different ways to have dairy in your system. You've learned some ways to get a beverage such as milk that's going to be high in those 9 essential nutrients. It can be relatively inexpensive to have dairy products. Again, it just depends on what type or the amount that you're doing. Whenever you aren't drinking some nice milk, go for a water, and it's going to give you not any of the nutrients, but it's not going to give you any of the calories, the fats, or the sugars either, and it's going to hydrate you the most. And hopefully you can find ways that you can have your 3 servings of dairy every day from the dairy food group. Looking at those labels, trying to pick the best thing that tastes the best, but also is the best and most nutritious for you. Because as you get older, you could develop osteoporosis, and basically you're losing your bone mass. So it could be it's causing problems with falls. And you can look at these 2 pictures and probably see a little bit of the difference between a normal bone and an osteoporosis bone. So you don't have as much strength, so it's easier to fall and it's more difficult to recover from. So that's why we always tell people, drink your milk, make your bones strong. Because it just naturally happens to us. And it's a silent disease, unfortunately, because you can't tell that your bones are thinning. It's not like you get thinner in your waist and like, oh, my pants are looser and, yay. No, it's a silent disease that you don't know until you fall, until there's a fracture. And then you continue to have hip or, bone problems for the rest of your life. So you don't want to have problems with your mobility due to osteoporosis. It causes a lot of us, we normally shrink in height anyway. We develop that little stooped posture with your back kind of over. It's going to cause back pains. Your bones are going to be very weak and brittle, and it's not going to take much to break a hip or to, you can even fracture something just from sneezing or coughing too hard. That would be horrible, to like crack a rib or something just because you sneezed, something that you can't stop yourself from doing that. So when you are going to the doctor, having that bone density test is important, letting them check that whether you have osteoporosis or not. They can run other, x-rays or other tests to test for that. So ask your doctor if you haven't had that checked out, to check your bone density, because prevention is key. We want you to have a nice, strong back, a nice, strong, healthy bones. And the only way to do that is to get enough calcium. Milk has a lot of vitamin D. You can also get vitamin D from going outside and being in the sun, and exercise. Exercise helps our bones. Weight-bearing exercise is really good for us. So make sure you're being physically active as well. And you can see that our calcium requirements go up, in age. So when you're in that, 10 to 30-year-old, that's when you need the most milk and the most calcium in there, because your bones are growing the most. And then unfortunately we start, like we're not kids anymore, so we don't drink milk and we stop eating breakfast or eating cereal, and then we start having problems. And you can see that the people, as they get older, you can see their back kind of hunches a little bit and they lower in height. I wish this was a picture of the same person over time, but it looks like they've got different people there. So making sure you're getting enough calcium to help your bones stay healthy and to stay strong. You can, again, get that from dairy foods, baked beans, salmon, nuts, oatmeal, and even certain green vegetables can give you calcium as well. A lot of people do take calcium supplements. They, again, are great to supplement your body. Your body does tend to remove more calcium than you can replace with food due to hormonal changes as you get about 35 to 40 or so. But it's just going to get worse. Vitamin D, you see this lovely picture. So many people were lacking in vitamin D. And I know I saw several studies this past year with COVID that a lot of people who were having the most difficult effects from COVID were vitamin D deficient. And part of it was, unfortunately, with COVID, you were kind of locked up in your house. So you weren't outside getting the sunlight that you need to help give you that vitamin D. Again, getting vitamin D from the milk, from those healthy fats, the healthy fatty fishes, salmon, tuna, mackerel, even your egg yolks. Again, it has cholesterol in the egg yolks, but it also has vitamin D. But we recommend you getting some exposure to the sun, 5 to 30 minutes, 2 times a week, making sure that you are wearing sunscreen when you are doing that, because we are concerned about skin cancer as well. But we are going to take a quick break and hear from our sponsors. Again, I want to make sure that you have my information. My name is Jennifer Brown, and I do the Family and Consumer Science program for the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service in Person and Granville. Please feel free to always check us out on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Person Granville FCS. Here's our sponsors.
It's July, and before you know it, August will roll around and we'll start heading toward the fall season. We can already be thinking about cooler days of fall, and that'll be here before you know it, when we really enjoy getting outdoors again and doing our fall lawn work in our fall flower gardens. It's also time to kill those weeds in the lawn to be ready for fall seeding. T.G. Brooks Company has the chemicals to do it, like Fertilome and high-yield lawn and garden products, brands that you can trust. T.G. Brooks Company is fully stocked for fall, and meanwhile, if you still need irrigation, they have plenty of irrigation needs, such as hose and sprinklers and piping. For your work in the yard, they have yard tools like rakes, hoes, diggers, choppers, pitchforks, pruning saws, loppers, wheelbarrows, and lawn carts, and lawn sweepers. And for your flower bed, they have your hardwood mulches and dyed mulches and that really good triple ground mulch, and Daddy Pete's manure and soil by the bags. They have mulch in bags or by the trailer or pickup load, and they can arrange delivery if you need it. So this year, beautify with fresh pine needles, and for planting, get you some topsoil, planting soil, and they have cow manure. They also have the Pride dog food, including the Pride Pro Series, and yes, they still have dog kennels too. No matter if you are a homeowner or business owner, they can fill your needs. If you are the professional landscaper, they can handle commercial accounts. It's no wonder people from every corner of Person County travel to T.G. Brooks Company. They love the friendly family business where every customer is important no matter how large or small, and they're treated with courtesy. They serve homeowners, farmers, and those in construction. They have since 1936. We're also thankful, and definitely it all comes together when you pay a visit to T.G. Brooks Company in Timberlake.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Gardener's Corner. My name is Jennifer Brown, and I work for the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service. So we're going to continue with our food for thought. We talked about dairy because June is Dairy Month. And I kind of gave you some ideas about the importance of milk, how to get, making sure you're getting your calcium and lactose in your diet to help keep your bones strong. And one of the other ways that we help people do that is we try to talk to you about the importance of breakfast. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. I'm sure you've heard that, but I'm actually here to tell you, yes, that is true. And so I'm going to share a little presentation about how to build a better breakfast for you guys. Okay, so this presentation was put together by Kansas State Extension University, I believe, with USDA and Team Nutrition. So we understand that a lot of people skip breakfast for whatever reason. It could be you feel you don't have a lot of time. You run out of time in the morning, or maybe you're just not hungry, especially for like a big breakfast. It doesn't have to be a big breakfast. I'm not talking about sitting down and making eggs and bacon and whatever else, but I don't want any more excuses. If you're trying to lose weight, then you definitely need breakfast. That's one of the ways that actually helps you lose weight, because you need to break that fast. Your body has been fasting all night long since dinner. If you ate dinner last night at 6 o'clock and you woke up this morning at 6 o'clock, that's 12 hours that your body has had nothing. It's kind of like going from breakfast this morning at 8 a.m. and not eating anything else till 8 p.m. That's a long time. And your metabolism slows down while you're sleeping because you're not doing anything. So we want to kickstart your metabolism, and the way to do that is give it some food so it's not starving itself. Okay, so these fasting diets, don't listen. Try to lose some weight. And don't, no more excuses about there's no time in the morning. I don't care if you made some muffins on Sunday and, you've already got them ready to go. And so all you have to do is go grab one and you can eat it in the car. Don't like breakfast foods. I'm sure there's something that you like. We can help you find that. Again, you can always look on choosemyplate.gov to find recipes, find healthy ways to get dairy in your breakfast, or even if it's not dairy, just eating breakfast, because it wakes your body up, it gets your metabolism going, and it helps, kickstart your energy. Otherwise, you're just very lethargic and it's hard to get going. A lot of us, we feel we need caffeine. We need coffee in the morning to get us going. No, you need food. Try to get healthy food too, not the fast food stuff that's very processed and very greasy and just kind of sits on you all day. But this is why they tell children, this is one of the ways you have the best performance at school, is you break that fast, and it helps you think better throughout the day. It helps you move quicker during the day because your body has been fasting all night long. And glucose, which is the main source of energy for our brain, needs to be replenished. You need to give it some juice in the morning. It's kind of like trying to run your car without any gas. Food is what provides the glucose to your brain to help it get going, to help it run faster, to help the synapses start firing that much quicker. Perfect. Again, like I said, your body's a car. You can have a car that's full tank of gas, but then you leave that car cranked overnight and it just sits there, and the car is running. It's not going anywhere, but it's running because your body, even though you're sleeping, you're not dead. You're still using energy. So you're burning off the entire gas that you ate for dinner last night. All of the energy that you got from your dinner meal, you're burning it off throughout the night. Because your heart, your lungs, your brain, all of your organs are still working and they're doing things throughout the night. Some of us get up in the middle of the night and have to go to the bathroom. So in the morning, you need to refuel your body and you need to fill your tank by eating food when you wake up in the morning. There are so many benefits to breakfast. Breakfast eaters, people who eat breakfast, tend to have more strength and endurance. So the athletes that are getting ready to do the Olympics are definitely going to eat. That's what you see them on the box of Wheaties or Cheerios or wherever else. It's because they understand the importance of breakfast. It's going to help you if you have a job where you have to concentrate or you have to have solved different problems or, whatever else. Again, kids in school taking tests, very important to make sure that they give breakfast. It's one of the reasons the USDA works hard to provide school nutrition to the kids, to provide free breakfast and free lunch, is so the kids can be thinking well and can, not be doing poorly just because they weren't able to eat that morning. People who don't eat breakfast tend to be very tired and listless, and it's hard to get going, and they're more irritable in the morning. I can see the difference in myself and even my children, on the days that, even if it's like grab a granola bar and go, I don't care if it's something simple. I've seen kids when I go to schools and do programs, the kids who've had breakfast, I'll ask them, who had breakfast today? And they'll raise their hands, but I already knew the answer because I can tell based upon how well they're participating, how well they're, doing what I asked them to do, whether it's a worksheet or something like that. So it holds true for all of us. So we need to make sure that we're getting some of those benefits. The reason it can be very important to us is because for those of us, if you if you are diabetic, or if you're even like me, that I tend to have low blood sugar, this gives you that kickstart, that it gives you that glucose, which is sugar. It's going to replenish your blood sugar. It provides fuel for your body. So I cannot get up in the morning and exercise until I've had some food, because my blood sugar is already low enough. And then I start exercising, which lowers blood sugar. And then I'll almost pass out. So I have to eat something first. Then I have my energy to do what I normally do during the day. It's going to help energize your body. It's going to give you endurance, stamina. It's also going to help you reduce the risk for heart disease. Okay. It's going to help get you those nutrients that you need, the fiber to help keep you regulated, the calcium to prevent osteoporosis, vitamin C to keep you healthy, and iron to help you feel good and have your immune system working good. And as we get older, if you're concerned about Alzheimer's or other stuff, even just helping with concentration, helping with memory, breakfast does all of these things. I gave you all of the different things that dairy does for us. Breakfast is just as important, whether you're having dairy or not, making sure you're doing the best thing for your health. And this is the way you kickstart it in the morning. There are so many research studies for children over the years. You've already heard them all, that, this is why we tell kids, have a good breakfast, get a good night sleep before you have a test or EOGs or something like that, because it's going to make them remember stuff better. It's going to make them solve whatever problems come into it, whether it's math problems or life skills problems. It's going to help you convey and express yourself verbally to people. You're going to be more creative. If you're, an artist or a painter or a sculptor or something like this, your creative juices are going to be flowing well because you have kickstart out your energy for the day. Kids are going to behave better, be more alert, more awake, and just happier overall because they feel better. A lot of people, again, I always hear in some of our classes that are weight loss or weight management classes, that people, I just don't eat breakfast. Adults who eat breakfast are less likely to be overweight or obese, and they're less likely to overeat for the rest of the day. So let me repeat that because people just don't always hear it. If you eat breakfast, you are less likely to be overweight or obese. You are less likely to overeat. So the people who are trying to lose weight are hurting themselves each and every morning by skipping breakfast, because you're not kickstarting your metabolism in the morning. Okay. And you are more likely to be overweight and obese because you don't eat breakfast. So eating that breakfast, breaking that fast, you're going to be more successful at weight loss and more successful even just maintaining that weight loss over time. Because people, when you skip a meal, whether it's breakfast or whatever, the fasting that people are doing, you're more likely to eat more. You skipped lunch, so you have a huge dinner. or you eat more snacks or other stuff along the way. And we want you to not have that going on. And overall, you're just going to improve your health. As I mentioned, those lifelong breakfast eaters, they reduce their bad and total cholesterol. They reduce their risk of heart health or heart disease. They reduce their risk of diabetes. They improve their bone health, the strength, of their bones, and prevent osteoporosis. They have increased physical energy, increased endurance, increased stamina, so that they can maybe perform better in sports. So we're going to give you some more information. We're going to get a word on from another one of our sponsors real quickly, and then we're going to come back and give you some more information of how it improves your health and how to get some breakfast into your system each and every day. Okay.
Come enjoy Denton Farm Park's 51st Annual Southeast Old Threshers Reunion, July 1st through the 5th.
Tractor, lawnmower, and horse pulls, antique farm equipment, great food, air-conditioned museum buildings.
The handy-dandy train ride, plus concerts, including Appalachian Roadshow, Bucky Covington, The Highwaymen Live, a musical tribute to Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, and Johnny Cash.
Jason Crabb, plus tractor games at 5 on the 5th at the 51st Southeast Old Threshers Reunion, with fireworks on July 5th.
Visit DentonFarmPark.com for more info.
Welcome back. So we're going to wrap up our Gardener's Corner session, finishing our presentation about breakfast and how to build a better breakfast and how to have a healthier breakfast. So when I'm talking to people, we've talked about the importance of breakfast, so I'm not going to keep hitting on that. But what makes a healthy breakfast? There are two main components that we want to make sure that you're getting in your breakfast, and that would be carbohydrates and protein. These are the things that we want in it. So your carbohydrates can be your grains. Specifically, we recommend whole grains and fruit. Fruit is also a carbohydrate. And then protein, it could be possibly that you're having a meat product of some kind. We want it to be lean meat, just like our dairy that we talked about earlier in the program. We want it to be lower fat or as low fat as we can, not as processed. So some of the deli meats or other, bacon and sausage, those things are saturated fatty meats. So we prefer to get our protein even from your dairy products as well. But you can get protein from peanut butter and your dairy products. Again, watching the amount of fat in those things and the type of fat is important. But whenever you're focusing on these different components, we still want you to look at cholesterol if you have cholesterol issues. So, eggs are a good source of protein, but if you have cholesterol issues, then maybe you need to eat the egg white instead of the egg yolk, because the yolk is what has the cholesterol in it, as well as your trans fats. These are the really unhealthy fats that you're going to get from more of your bacon and sausage and different things. They're going to be very high in saturated and or trans fats. So when you're sitting down to figure out what you're going to have for breakfast, you might want to think about it the night before, do a little meal planning, but choosing one food from each of the food groups, a grain, a protein, and a fruit. These are the three that we typically focus on. Now, again, that protein could be from a dairy category as well, milk, but it doesn't have to be. So most of the time we don't usually do vegetables for breakfast unless you're going to make maybe a veggie omelet. That's a perfect way to throw some veggies in there. Or if you're going to make a breakfast burrito, you can throw some veggies in there as well. So grains, we want it to be whole grains if at all possible, whether it's a whole grain toast, whole grain cereal, whole grain oatmeal, those kinds of things. We want it to be less processed, to have less artificial sugar added in. So if you want your oatmeal, make your own oatmeal. You can get the instant packets, but don't get the instant packet that has the brown sugar, maple syrup, kind of stuff. Add in your own fruit, add in your own flavors, add in your own cinnamon, instead of buying the package that already has everything in there, because it also has extra fat, extra sugar, and possibly extra salt, depending on what you're eating. Protein, some meat is good, some cheese, some milk, making sure that it's low fat, low sugar, high fiber, and high protein meals is what you're looking at. Fruit is great. We prefer you to eat your fruit instead of drinking it. But if you are drinking it, making sure that it's 100% fruit juice and it doesn't have added sugar with it. And everything goes back to the eating a rainbow. You need about 2 to 3 servings of fruit each day. So it's really easy to get a fruit in at breakfast, because the reason we need those fruits and vegetables is they have, just like dairy, they have so many essential nutrients in them. They're going to keep your eyes, your skin, your hair, your heart, your lungs, everything inside you and on the outside healthy. It's going to help you heal quicker if you have cuts and bruises, or it's going to help your immune system if you do get sick to feel better quicker. And it's going to, if you're a kid, help you grow the way your body should, or it's going to, if you're an adult, help you stay as strong and healthy as you have been in previous parts of your life. We want you to focus on getting that energy boost for breakfast. So getting the if you're getting the carbohydrates, your simple carbohydrates are going to get you that quick energy boost. Those are kind of some of your orange juice and your apple juice kind of things. But we want you to go a step further and get those complex carbohydrates. Things that are going, the energy is going to carry you through the rest of the day. So getting the whole grain cereals, the whole grain oatmeals, things that are also going to have fiber and keep you full, feeling full longer. It's going to give you that energy. If you have some protein there, it's going to help build muscle. Your fat will provide energy as well. But most of your energy, remember, 50% of your energy intake is supposed to come from carbohydrates. So a balanced meal would be that carbohydrate, that protein, and fat. Healthier fats is what we want. Complex carbohydrates is what we want. Lean protein is what we want. And when you get those, you're going to get all the nutrients that you need. You can take an added supplement or a pill, but you're going to get the fiber, the calcium, and the vitamin A that you need. You don't have enough time for breakfast, do a little prep the night before. Have your bowl of cereal sitting there, and then all you got to do tomorrow is pour the milk in it. Make your muffins the night before and throw them in in the refrigerator. And so, or even in the freezer, you can freeze muffins and just pull one out when you need it. You can get some of those portable breakfast foods to eat on the go. You can make eggs in your coffee cup in the microwave. You can heat eggs that way. So it doesn't have to be that you don't have time to be over a stove top. There are different ways that you can do this, but keep it simple. And don't forget fruit. That's a perfect breakfast. Grabbing a banana, grabbing an apple. It's quick, it's nutrient packed, and it's ready for you to go. Planning ahead. Meal planning, just taking a couple of minutes to figure out what you're going to do tomorrow or what you're going to do this week. If you have children in your home, be a positive, healthy role model. Eat breakfast with your family. Eat breakfast with your students, with your friends, whoever. Set breakfast as a goal for yourself if it's something that you haven't been doing. That's a great thing that you can work on from this week to next, is eating breakfast more often. If you're not a breakfast person, finding something else. I don't care if you're eating cold pizza for breakfast. It's kickstarting your energy and your metabolism. Hopefully it's not an unhealthy piece of pizza, but you can make a little breakfast burrito. You can have some trail mix. Again, you can have a yogurt parfait. You can mix your own oatmeal with leftover berries and nuts or yogurt or different kinds of things. My dad loves a peanut butter and banana sandwich any time of the day. So making sure that you're doing that. Again, if you don't have time, you can make a pitcher of smoothies and have it in your fridge. You can make a pot of oatmeal and have it in the fridge. So tomorrow, all you have to do is spoon it out and heat it up. Very simple things that you can do. If you want some more recipes, again, check us out on social media at Person Granville FCS to find out where you can find more recipes. We have a couple of cooking demonstrations and a couple of videos. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Person Granville FCS. Again, my name is Jennifer Brown, and I'm with the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service. Thanks to you all for watching our Gardener's Corner segment, and thanks to all of our sponsors for this program.
South Boston Memorials, located 1439 Seymour Drive in South Boston, Virginia, has been in business since 1958. The Myers family of South Boston Memorials believe that every life has a story. For 4 generations, their life work has been to present and preserve that story for our prosperity to hear. Allow South Boston Memorials to tell yours. South Boston Memorials has Granite memorials, markers, and mausoleums, over 300 in stock. In-house laser etching is available at South Boston Memorials, and they can also make pet markers. For memorial benches, vases, and monuments, call on South Boston Memorials at 434-572-3859 or visit their website, sobomemorials.com. That's 434-572-3859. South Boston Memorials is located 1439 Seymour Drive in South Boston, Virginia. Like us on Facebook or visit the website, sobomemorials.com.